It's TK Irish at the Camp Kennerk podcast. It's Sunday, it's sports, and now it is a conspiracy theory that is rocking the sports world. That's right, conspiracy. Now, how's that come about? Well, North Carolina football team has a head coach by the name of Bill Belichick. Now, he has a great history in the professional level, and he retired, went to go into the college ranks, and is building a new dynasty there. Now, prior to Bill going into the college ranks, he was the head coach for the New England Patriots. Now, that may sound very familiar to you because he built a dynasty there. I mean, he had Tom Brady as a quarterback, won Super Bowl after Super Bowl, just a phenomenal coach. And he came up to the Hall of Fame vote the other day because after 5 years, you're allowed to be, inducted in the Hall of Fame if you get all the correct amount of votes. Well, so now here's the deal. I'm going to read this to you so I don't make any errors. He won 6 Super Bowls as the head coach of the Patriots. And he also won 2 other rings as head coach for the New York Giants. Well, that's pretty impressive when you consider that Chuck Noll, who is the head coach for the Steelers, had only won 4 Super Bowls. Bill Waltz of the San Francisco 49ers won 3. Joe Gibbs of the Washington Redskins, or Commanders now, won 3 Super Bowls. Now, those other guys, that's very impressive. But when it comes to Bill, he set the record. He's the GOAT. He's got the bar raised to such a level that no one's ever seemed to going to be able to get that. But here's the deal. The results came out for the first ballot Hall of Fame, and he didn't get in. He was short 1 vote. Now, these votes are done anonymously. So everyone's shaking their head, scratching their head, rolling their eyes, going, okay, who was the one that didn't vote for Bill? No one's talking. Now, there's conspiracy going on that the reason why he is not into the Hall of Fame is due to the fact of a little scandal about stealing signs. And what they called that, let me get my notes here. So they had that, stealing signs, and also everything with Inflategate. But that's not the biggest violation in professional sports that we've ever seen. So now we're trying to find out why, who, and this conspiracy theory has been rocking the sports world from every place you turn on to. So, Douglas, I got a question. What's your theory on this conspiracy?
TK, so good to see you on this February 1st Sunday morning sports report. And you bring up a very good situation concerning Bill Belichick of the North Carolina, previously the New England Patriots coach, not making it into the NFL Hall of Fame. And your stats are excellent, but you forgot one thing. There are 50 people who vote for the Hall of Fame. Now, they are media people. They are in the media people. So, and to get into the Hall of Fame, you need to have 80% or 40 votes out of the 50 people that vote. Representatives from each, I think it's 2 representatives from each town, city, and or 1, whatever it is, and then an extra 1. So it's around 50. Now, you brought up the question that one person did not vote for Bill Belichick. I think you've made an error there. Why wasn't it all 50? Why wasn't it unanimous? Because you need 40 to get in, but there are 50 people who voted. So that means there's 11 people who did not vote for them. And why did those 11 people not vote for him?
Well, Douglas, that's a great question. You know, everybody's saying he should have been unanimous, obviously.
Yes, yes.
But sometimes, people just get upset with someone and they say, well, I'm going to have the last word here. And so he was short by one vote, but you're right that there are other ones who didn't vote for him. So it wasn't just an isolated situation. So I think what Bill needs to do is he needs to talk to his girlfriend. And she's the mogul, the media mogul that sort of runs the whole operation for him. Now,
24 years old, 24 years old.
well,
And
yeah, yeah, and that's the issue. Those other people who didn't vote were going, how come he gets a 24-year-old hard belly? Well, if you got enough money, you can get two of them.
Yes, and that whole thing about cheating, videotaping the other team. Why? You've been playing football since you were 5 years old. You pretty good, much got an idea of if this defensive back goes over here, if this is going to happen, if this is going to, he's charging, blah, blah, blah. And the deflate gate. What? Tom Brady was the only guy who handled the football all game. Hey, there's something funny with this is a Nerf ball. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
it's as if it's when you're at the top. When you're at the top, people come after you with the silliest stuff, so you have to stop and deal with that as opposed to moving on your project. And now maybe there's a little something there, but it's the game of football is on the field. This is stuff that's off the field. And Bill Belichick and the Patriots, Tom Brady and the entire team of Gronk and all the Edelman and all the other players, they won. They won, and when you win seven of them, right? They played in 10 games and they won seven. Uh, you deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, you know.
Yeah, there's
And
no doubt about
and
that.
that And what's another interesting stat is that Eli Manning of the Giants beat the Patriots twice in the Super Bowl. So I think that would you win seven of them, but we lost two to one guy. One guy. I think that would, if you beat him once and he beats you, yeah, you don't even out. But we
Mhm.
played him twice. They beat us twice.
Well,
That's good.
obviously Eli did his homework better than anyone else.
Yes, yes, and that's true. But in my mind, Bill Belichick does deserve in Canton the Hall of Fame. He should be there. And my question to us, and that's why we do the Camp Kennerk podcast, is because we have interesting minds, as we have been accused of. You're interesting. It's not just one person.
Mhm.
There's 30. You need 40 to get in. Only 39 said yes, but there's 11 other people. You know.
They're going to take that information to the grave. No one is going to stand up and say, "Oh, it was me," and then someone else in the crowd stands up and it was me too. It's not. This is not a true confession kind of situation. Now,
Right, right, right.
maybe at their wake,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
people will come out and say, "Well, he's the one that didn't vote for
yeah.
Bill Belichick," and so
Yes. Well, there's a whole story about the three different types of people in the world. The first one is those that do it. They're out there doing it, out there doing it. And then there's the second group of people who are talking about it, what you're doing. They're talking about it. And then the third group are those that go, duh.
yeah, yeah.
There's a whole slew of our nation that doesn't care about NFL or Bill Belichick. Never heard of them. They don't care. And then
Mhm.
there's a bunch of us that talk about it, and then there's the players on the field.
Yeah,
So that's it. So
yeah.
anyway, it's kind of interesting. We have the Super Bowl next week, and this is February 1st. This is the first day of February, and it's the 32nd day of the year of 2026. Do you have your coffee?
Got my liquid confidence here, buddy.
Get up and go, Joe. Mhm.
Mm.
So
Woo.
I have a couple of things to bring up. If you'll notice my sartorial splendor, I'm wearing a golf cap from the Trafalgar Golf and Country Club that was up in Milton, Ontario, Canada, where our family is from.
Hmm.
And it's the family had invested in the Trafalgar Golf and Country Club back in the 50s. You remember when Arnold Palmer, Arnold Palmer Army, Arnold's Army,
Arnie's
the
Army, yeah.
before Jack Nicklaus, golf was transforming our society. It was booming, absolutely booming. Well, my grandfather was grandfather Walter. He was a very he was a working guy. He was a redneck. He was a working guy. You know, drove trucks. He did this. He did had a sand and gravel company, but he was not of the golfing guy. My dad introduced him into playing golf, and within a year, he had invested with 10 other people for this golf course that they was up in Milton, Ontario. And what had happened is a farmer had started building a pitch and putt for his son when he got back from World War II. But the young man died.
Oh
So this
no.
farmer had a pitch and putt, a three-hole golf course for his son when they got back on about a square mile of land, 640 acres or something like that. Huge, huge.
Okay, yeah.
So my grandfather saw very prescient, invested with 10 other guys to start this thing off back in 1955, long, long time ago, way before the golf boom. Okay. So it was part of our family legacy. Everyone played golf except me because I was into track, football, baseball, basketball. Just wasn't a very good golfer. Just it's a good game. It's a good game. Just rather go do something else. That's all. Swimming, shoot hoops, that sort of stuff. And I actually worked as a golf course here over in Toronto back when I was trying to get my citizenship to come to the United States. Excuse me. And then I also worked at the golf course over here, the Lions Golf Course.
Which is a very famous golf course in its own right because of some of the players who honed their skills there as kids.
Yes, yeah, and Brenshaw. What's his
Crenshaw, Crenshaw,
Ben
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 Crenshaw.
Ben Crenshaw? Yes, and I've met him a couple of times. Real nice guy. So I worked over there. So, but what is happening now? That there's 4 or 5 golf courses each week are closing in the United States. And Trafalgar Golf Course was in Canada closed. Now there's many golf courses up there. But what happens? The land becomes more valuable than the golf course. So this is, and the reason I'm wearing it today is because this is the slow week in sports. The Super Bowl is next Sunday. It's next Sunday. So we got nothing to do other than be around the house and help out the wife, clean up the garage, that sort of build dividend points so that we can get the time to watch the Super Bowl next Sunday. So
That's
this
correct.
is this is what I think we should call this guilt weekend.
Okay. All right. I think we
Or
could,
what do you think? Dividend weekend? Dividend weekend?
yeah, dividend weekend would work because everyone knows that a dividend is a payback from for investing your money or your time. So
Well, also that goes back to, but anyway, I'm wearing my golf hat on this dividend weekend, and golf is on TV, and cold weather out here and cold too. You turn on TV, and they're in some beautiful exotic place, whacking the ball. Oh, I wish I was there. That sort of stuff. But also another point that I want to bring up. This is February 1st.
that's right.
February. What a word. It's an odd name word, February. So I had to look it up. What does February mean? January is Janus, the excuse me, god of war. March is the god of war, and Janus is the god of wine or something like, July is named after Julius Caesar. Julius Augustus is Augustus, the nephew of Caesar, that sort of stuff. September is 8, and but it became 9. I don't know. But what's
Mhm.
February? So I looked it on up. February is a Latin februum, Februum. Februum is a festival in Roman times for purification
Oh.
because you've just had during the Christmas season, end of the year season, the harvest season, had the parties going on. And so now it's the purification of the body, februm, which became February.
Well,
So I
that
thought,
is a great tidbit of information. I'm sure I'm going to put that down, make that in my notes in my diary today of Doug the neighbor's wisdom and wit. Once again, he comes through about explaining why we have February. So
that's why we
my
are
hats off to you, Douglas.
that's why we are accused of having minds that are interesting. But you know what's tomorrow? This is really cool. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow is Groundhog Day. It's
Oh my
Doubleday
goodness
to
gracious. Oh
yeah,
my.
it's Groundhog Day.
I was reading something that they think that's a conspiracy as well, because what the alleged is that when the groundhog comes out of the ground, they adjust the lights for the cameras to show whether or not there's a shadow or not. So once again, this could be a conspiracy theory we need to talk about more because everybody sets their calendar on whether you see the shadow or not, and it's concerning me.
Well, absolutely true. But remember, let's think about we did a Happy Camper interview with your brother, Steve Kennerk.
That's right.
And it was a great interview about his life up there in Wyoming, Landers, Wyoming, right?
Correct.
And he has a business up there, tanning hides, I believe, and doing
Yes.
something with fur and that sort of stuff.
Mhm.
I don't. Did he mention he had a meat processing company? Is
No,
it?
he didn't do any meat processing. He just takes the hides and process them, tans them uh, for people who are hunters or businesses. He'll do anything from a deer hide to a buffalo hide or even elephant. I think
Well,
he's
that brings up the whole aspect. Steve was very kind to send me a small piece of elephant skin, and which came from the foot. From the foot. It's a beautiful gift. It's just a nice, odd, beautiful gift. So my theory is that they don't. It's too cold up there for groundhogs to come out of the ground in Wyoming on February 2nd. But there's no hole big enough for an elephant. So do they have elephant sightings up there?
Well, that's a great question. I talked with him yesterday, and as a matter of fact, he is going to answer that question and some videos he's going to send us, and he's going to be our man in the mountains, and he's going to give us tidbits of information on what it's like living in the Rocky Mountains.
Oh,
So,
we love it. Well, let us know when he sights an elephant up there in Wyoming.
yeah,
That,
oh,
that
obviously, and as shy and reserved as he is, I'm sure we'll be the first to know.
well, that's good, and we can broadcast it to the world, to the galaxy, to let them know that Steve has sighted an elephant up there in Wyoming.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, people
And
are going to say, "Well, that's a conspiracy, or that's interesting," but no, there's elephants up there. You
yeah,
know, we
and
we
I'm
know.
I'm sure he's going to send us pictures as proof.
Now, today is a full moon, start of the month. So February, purification, full moon, starting over. And that's where we got. But it's also the countdown to a couple of more things. Countdown to the Super Bowl on February the 8th, Sunday, and I believe it's like a 5:30 game here in Texas, I think, but check your local listings and then check which streaming service you don't have that it's on, that sort of stuff, or head to your local pub and have a good time with your neighbors watching it. But the countdown also for St. Valentine's Day, which is on February 14th, which is on a Saturday.
Oh my goodness gracious. There is going to be
Yes.
confusion on the streets that night. Saturday nights is a fun night. There's a lot of stuff going on, but then you put a romance in it. I said romance, and you're not going to be able to get a seat in any restaurant, bar, pub, or even on the street curb eating a corny dog.
Right. And so that is coming, and you're going to, and guys, to our guys all who are listening to our sports car, it's going to cost you.
You
And
better start
the worst
carrying your
part,
lunch to work for the next couple of weeks, and
yeah,
I repeat, you may have a chance to cover it.
right.
But
And the worst part is she's going to want to go to her favorite spot. And it's not going to be a steakhouse. It's going to be a little French bistro, the little teeny tables. Your knees won't fit under the table. They're going to serve a little plate of little things, little things you have no idea what it is. And you think that's the appetizer, but it's the main meal. And it has some French name to it. And it's going to cost you a lot. And then the worst part is you're going to have to sit there and listen.
yes, there seems to be a lot of dialogue that goes on one side of the table versus the other. But Douglas, I think the word you're looking for is ambiance.
Ambiance.
Ambiance. They want
French ambiance.
ambiance.
A lot of ambies there in French restaurants. Yeah. And you're going to pay for it.
Yeah, because you can't replicate it in your living room.
Yes.
And I speak firsthand on that over the years, trying to do whatever you could. You say, "Oh, I got a special treat for you."
Yeah.
You're not going to believe, and they don't believe it, especially when they get there and see we got, the grill fired up, we got the
Yeah.
game on TV,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
But life works out, TK. Life works out because that weekend is also pitchers and catchers for baseball. The sweetest words in the English language, where all the baseball players, professional baseball players, head to either Florida for the Citrus League or to Arizona for the Cactus League. And we get pitchers and catchers to start the season. Beautiful, beautiful time. So women get Valentine's Day, men get pitchers and catchers.
that's a great correlation. I really appreciate you bringing that out because yes, the American, baseball to me is always the American pastime. I know that people argue that there's other sports that do that, but to me, to go out to the ballpark, watch batting practice, sitting there having a beverage and just watching the people and the players, it doesn't get any better than that. If you catch a foul ball, then you're really living right.
Right. And you see the beauty of this confluence of Valentine's Day and pitchers and catchers. You see, if you do it right, man, if you do it right, you hit a home run.
I think it's more like a grand slam.
Yeah, grand slam. If you do it wrong, you're thrown out of the game.
You- You're banned. I mean, the commissioner's going to come in there and kick you out for 25 games for immoral and illegal behavior.
Right. And no matter what you do in the future, it will be brought up again.
Yes, yes, yes.
You will never enter the Hall of Fame.
Well, that's that phrase. They forget everything but a grudge.
That's everything about that grudge. Now, this is our sports thing show, and I have some very interesting stats here. I love your stats, but I have some stats here. The transfer portal is opened up, and I think it's closed. It opens and it closes for like 2 weeks. Okay. Now, these are interesting stats. These are the top three teams that lost a huge amount of players. In other words, they transferred out. Now, because of coaching changes, because of scholarship limitations, because of NIL money, or they're not winning and I'm out of here. Okay. So here's the top three. And the first, the, the bottom one is Penn State. Penn State lost 46 players that entered the portal. Now that means some people will come back, but we don't know until a couple of weeks or then when people come in. But 46 players left. Now the next one is Iowa State, which Iowa State produced Brock Purdy, who's now with the 49ers. I mean,
Isn't
they've
he
got a
Mr. Brooke Pride? Isn't he the Mr. Irrelevant?
yeah, yeah, and then then went to the Super Bowl. I mean, yeah, he
He
was
was to give everybody an update, what that means is Mr. Irrelevant. In the NFL draft, the last person that is drafted before they shut it down is nicknamed Mr. Irrelevant
right.
because it's like being the last one chosen for the Little League games. Nobody
Yes,
wants you. Well,
nobody.
this young man, he took that as a challenge and put a chip on his shoulder, and now he's starting quarterback for the 49ers, I think, and
Yes,
is playing in the Super Bowl. So
yeah.
what's that tell you about people not being able to measure a man's heart?
That's right. It's the fight in the dog. It's the fight in the dog is what it is. Okay, now the number one team that lost the most players to transfer portal is Oklahoma State. They lost 64. Now they had a terrible season and they fired Mike Gundy, who was transformed Oklahoma State, but now it just didn't work out this year. And so he's gone. So 64 players left. Now they will go someplace. Oklahoma State will bring in a new coach. People will come in. But what brings this up is something that you and I have talked about is that, and since we're in marketing and seeing the world in an interesting way, here's a business opportunity. It's $1 million idea, TK.
Oh
All right.
man, I love $1 million ideas because that
Yeah.
means we can make $1 million.
Make $1 million. Okay. All right. College football players, sports players, whatever, they got money. Well, they got to leave. So that means they got to pack up their stuff and go. So we start the Camp Kennerk U-Haul business for college players. And when we move somebody, a player, we put their name on the side of the van so that it adds to their social media presence to get
Build
more
their
people.
build their brand as miles go by. That's the
Right,
slogan.
right, right.
Mhm.
Now, so somebody goes from Oklahoma State over to California, we'll pack up all their stuff and take it. There go. And then when the truck's out there, we'll get some kid from California, take him back to Dallas, and then we'll go. So we have about 10 trucks traveling the whole country. And then we could have a super secret division which handles the coaches.
Oh yes, because they move more than the 7 foot snake.
That's right. That's right. And they want to do it on the down low because they've been run out of town.
Mhm.
Or like Lane Kiffin, there's more money over here, but they left old Mississippi hanging there, that sort of stuff. So they in the middle of the night, so no pictures on the side of the van. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, here's where we can make some really good money. And this would be a benefit for society, for old goats just like us. Now, these players, now the coaches probably drive, probably got a pickup for themselves and a Mercedes for their wife. Yeah, I mean, that's just the coach mentality, or maybe a Honda. Yeah, Honda for themselves, and the wife's got the Mercedes, something like that. They got the money, but that's the mentality. But these kids, they make the first bucks. They've got Ferraris and Mustangs and Corvettes and that sort of stuff, right? They
Oh
they got
man,
all
I tell you, yeah, they you see those guys all over town, especially there in Austin, driving Bentleys, Ferraris,
Yeah.
anything they can imagine, they're going to get it.
Okay, so the cars have got to go with the players, right? Now, the kids, the football players take a private jet. They're wooed by the alumni to go wherever they're going to go, right? So they're going to go private jet. We haul their furniture in these vans with their picture on the side. Okay, well, how do you get their Lamborghinis and their Bentleys there? Now, we can't hire a young kid who's never driven one of these things, who's going to tear across the country because of the insurance. So we get these old goats just like us. We could never afford a Lamborghini. We could never afford to drive or even fit into a Corvette or a McLaren or something like that. So we hire these old goats who are just going to drive it nice and slow across country. You
A
see?
scenic drive in a Lamborghini. What a
Yeah.
great campaign right there.
Oh, yes. And how many old goats could we hire? Could we sign up? That, this is what
Doesn't
you do.
matter because all we do is we just call ARP, and say, "You got anybody there that wants to drive cross country in a fancy car?" And I'm sure ARP would step right up and say, "Here's the guys you
Yeah,
want to talk to," or women. I'm sure there's a lot of women who'd like to do that as well.
yeah. Yes, he just drives slowly. Yeah, never
Mhm.
breaks speed limit. Just
Mhm.
boo. Now, somebody could say, well, if you got that expensive a car, you're going to have a car hauler in a truck that hauls your car. And I said, yeah, that's probably true, but that would be our third division. We
Mhm.
said the players moving their stuff, the coaches moving their stuff, and then we also hire the cars, or we pull the cars, deliver the cars. $1 million idea.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I think first of all, we need to reach out to see if the portal's closed before we go out and ramp things up to find our new client base.
I think it's closed. It's only open for like 2 weeks. It's kind of weird. I don't understand it.
I don't either, but then it wasn't made for us to understand.
No, I know. So anyway, that's what's going on in my world. Let's think about this name for this hauling U-Haul business, Camp Kennerk, $1 million idea. And so we'll see if we can't, by the next time, next Sunday sports, we can chat about a slogan, a
Hmm.
logo, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You play, we haul.
Yeah.
You transfer, we haul. Yeah, something like that.
I'll get my staff over here at Camp Kennerk to put their creative brain together and see what we could come up with.
We need a logo, and then we need some slogans, and we'll see what we can come up with. Yeah, you run, we haul. You cool. NIL, here we come. You get cash, we go. We make you go. That's
Yeah. Yeah, we'll make it work. We got a good staff here. They're very good at coming up with this stuff. So
okay. All
we'll come
right.
up with a slogan, a name, and a logo.
Okay. All right. So that's good. Okay. All right, TK. It's a beautiful day, cold outside. I've got on my Dallas Maverick shirt here because, I am a Maverick. I'm a Dallas guy, Cowboys, Mavericks, Rangers. And so I'm wearing this shirt because it's midweek between the Super Bowl. So golf, little basketball, that sort of stuff. And then next week, we've got the Super Bowl.
Douglas, we've talked a lot about the Super Bowl and everything, but did you know next year, you got to put this on your calendar, you got to be prepared. This is an emotional issue. There's going to be a 3 week span between the championship games and the Super Bowl, not two.
Okay, TK, I'm going to make a statement right now, and you can write this down on our whiteboard. Would we have a whiteboard?
Yeah, somewhere around here. I think
Yeah,
I painted
okay,
over it, but yeah, we got one around here.
okay. All right. Ratings will plummet.
Okay, well, we'll find out. We got to wait 52 weeks.
Yeah.
54 weeks, actually.
And I think the ratings for the Super Bowl for this because of Seattle and New England up here, you know, they're smaller markets. I think the ratings are going to plummet. They fall from last year, and to make it wait 3 weeks next year, it's just going to further, you know. We want we're it's that's why the beauty of the March Madness. March Madness starts and it's over in 3 weeks. Boom, it's done. And
Mhm.
we're just glued to the TV. We got our betting slips, we got our boxes, and it's just boom right there. Get it done.
Exactly. So we'll find out, Douglas. You
Okay,
know,
we'll find out. Yeah. Now, TK, it's a beautiful, beautiful day. It's always great seeing you. That's it for me. Go Cowboys.
Aaron go brawl.